Dear children, in the previous class, I have told you about the real gases and the ideal gases and what are the conditions when a real gas behaves ideally. We also studied about the kinetic molecular theory of gases. Now, in today's topic, we will study about the liquid state and some of its characteristics. Liquids. We all know that it is one of the states of the matter. The liquids, they do not have a definite shape, but they have a definite volume. They can take the shape of any container. You can also compress a liquid. Why these properties in a liquid? It is just because the intermolecular forces and the thermal energy is of intermediate conditions as compared to the solid and the gaseous state. One very much remarkable property of the liquid is that the liquids can flow. This is known as fluidity. It is just because the molecules of the liquid can flow past each other. The vapor pressure. When we take a liquid, a volatile liquid in an open container, it will evaporate and the vapors will get mixed up into the air. At that time or in this condition, we cannot measure the vapor pressure. But if we will take a closed container, then the vapors will not escape into the atmosphere. The vapors will accumulate on underside of the lid. And these vapors will now exert pressure on the surface of the liquid. This is vapor pressure. With time, the vapors will increase and the vapor pressure will also increase. An equilibrium will be achieved, and at equilibrium, the rate of evaporation will be equals to the rate of condensation. And let me tell you, when the vapor pressure becomes equals to the atmospheric pressure, then the liquid starts boiling. In the junior class, you have studied that the boiling point is the temperature at which a liquid boils. That means it is changing into a vapor state. But now let me tell you exactly what happens at that temperature. Actually, at that temperature, the vapor pressure becomes equals to atmospheric pressure, and hence the liquid starts boiling. So, let me define vapor pressure. It is the pressure exerted by the vapors on the surface of the liquid at equilibrium. The next property of the liquids is surface tension. Dear children, you must have observed that the liquid droplets are always spherical in shape. Why these liquid droplets are spherical in shape? The reason behind is the surface tension. The liquid has the tendency to have the minimum surface area, and the sphere is the geometrical shape which has the minimum surface area. You can also observe that the falling liquid drop also has a spherical shape. Or there is one more property for which surface tension is responsible. You have seen when you drink the cold drink, the liquid or the concentrate, it rises up into the capillary. It is just because of the surface tension. Now let's see what is surface tension. Liquids tend to minimize their surface area. The molecules on the surface experience a net downward force and have more energy than the molecules in the bulk, which do not experience any net force. The energy required to increase the surface area of the liquid by 1 unit is defined as the surface energy. Just because of the surface tension, the surface of the liquid acts as a stretched membrane, and the unit force which is acting downward is known as the surface tension. Its unit is joules per meter square. Surface tension is defined as the force acting per unit length perpendicular to the line drawn on the surface of the liquid. It is denoted by Greek letter gamma. Its dimensions are kg per seconds, and its SI unit, it is expressed as Newton per meter square. Liquids tends to rise in the capillary because of the surface tension, as I have earlier told you. In everyday life, we have observed that the liquids have a remarkable property that they can flow. We see water flowing, we see milk flowing. The same way, when all the liquids they flow, but the rate with which they flow is different. We have seen honey, it flows very slowly. The difference in the fluidity is only due to the property of viscosity. Let me define what is viscosity. It is one of the characteristic properties of the liquids. Viscosity is a measure of resistance to the flow which arises due to the internal friction between the layers of the fluid as they slip past one another while liquid flows. When a liquid flows over a fixed surface, the layer of the molecules in the immediate contact of the surface is stationary. Laminar flow. This type of the flow in which there is a regular gradation of velocity in passing from one layer to the next is called laminar flow. Viscosity, you can compare it with the friction between the two solid surfaces. When we play carom, we sprinkle powder just to reduce the friction between the surface of the carom, that is the carom board, and the coins, so that the coins can slip very readily. If this force of friction between the layers of the liquid is very large, that is viscosity is high, then the liquid will not flow as freely as compared to the liquid in which the force of friction is less. Greater is the viscosity, the more slowly the liquids flow. Viscosity of the liquids decreases as the temperature rises because at high temperature molecules have high kinetic energy and can overcome the intermolecular forces to slip past one another between the layers. Just now we studied that viscosity can be decreased with the increase in the temperature. When we will increase the temperature, the liquid will flow more easily as compared to the point when the temperature was low. Dear children, let's have a quick recap. We studied about the gases and now we are studying about the liquids and its important characteristics. Just one of the most important characteristics which we studied now is the fluidity, the property of the liquid to flow. It is due to the fact that the molecules of the liquid can flow past each other. We also studied about the vapor pressure, that it is the pressure exerted by the vapors on the surface of the liquid at equilibrium. We studied about the surface tension which is responsible for the spherical liquid droplets, and the viscosity, that there is also a force of friction between the layers of the liquid, and that is why some liquids flow very readily and some liquids flow very slowly. I hope you have all understood these concepts.